It's no secret that home prices in Massachusetts have skyrocketed in recent years, and that's especially true in certain towns and small cities outside of Boston that have become more and more popular as people get priced out of certain areas closer to the city and they start working their way outwards. So, one of those cities is Woburn, which in past years and when I grew up there, I feel like it had been kind of an afterthought at times next to some towns like Winchester, Lexington, Arlington, some higher end towns that people really flock to. Woburn usually was more affordable, had lower prices, and wasn't as considered for first time buyers or people moving to the area. But that has changed a lot because it is an A-plus location. There's a lot to offer, highway access, train station. So it has since, over the past 5 or 6 years, become one of the hottest markets in Greater Boston. And over the past 5 years alone, the median sale price is increased over 23%. So we're seeing substantial increases, and now we're starting to see more $1 million plus homes, even $2 million plus homes in Woburn, something that was kind of unheard of before. So we're going to take a look at Q1 of 2026 and compare that to how it looked in 2025 and past years to show the evolution of the market in Woburn. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to take a look at Q1 of 2026 versus 2025 in Woburn. And these numbers are pulled directly from the MLS, so it's right from the source. And we're focusing on single family homes since that is the primary market in Woburn. There are some condos and multifamily homes mixed in there, but single families are the bread and butter of Woburn, so this is going to give us the best picture of what's going on in the market. So these first numbers are what is on the market right now. So currently there's only 11 homes on the market in all of Woburn. At this time last year, there were 7. And that doesn't mean that inventory is up. It means that there's a few extra homes sitting on the market now, which, as you can see by the days on market, there's been some that are on there for a long time, one of which is there's a new construction home for $2.7 million, which is very rare in Woburn, maybe the first of its kind. So that is skewing the numbers in terms of days on market, and the average sale price or average listing price being almost $1.2 million. That property alone is really skewing these numbers, but I want to show units taken this year. So this is the amount of homes that have hit the market in Woburn. 40 this year, 40 last year. So through Q1, we're on the exact same pace in terms of new homes hitting the market. And of those that have hit the market, 33 so far have gone pending, which means they've accepted an offer. And at this time last year, 35. So similar pacing, 20 days till offer last year was the average. This year it's 22. So very similar. Houses are selling pretty quickly when they're hitting the market. And that's been a main story for years, is you have very few days, maybe one weekend, to get in, see a house, decide if you like it or not, submit the offer and try to get it. We're getting back to that where we're seeing a lot of multiple offer situations, houses getting bid over asking price, and at the same time we are also seeing some sit on the market longer. So if a house isn't priced well, or if there's something kind of quirky about it or not as desirable to as many people, then buyers aren't afraid to wait. Whereas before it felt like buyers would throw offers at anything and everything constantly because they were extra excited and desperate to get an offer accepted. So buyers are savvy. There's been people in the market for a long time. So if the right house comes up, people jump on it. We're seeing a ton of activity. Others, if it's not priced well, if there's something off, it may take a little bit longer to sell. So of the homes that have hit the market this year, like I said, 22 days till offer has been the average. So that's pretty quick. That's for the most part, we're seeing offers first weekend, and then that number gets skewed a bit from houses that have sat a little bit longer. But your typical house that checks the boxes for a lot of buyers is getting multiple offers the first weekend and selling right away. So we'll see what those sale prices are moving forward, because when you accept an offer, it's usually 30 to 45 days before closing. So these numbers are always in retrospect, where you're looking back at when something was accepted, but by the time it closes, the market might have changed a lot. So we can also take a look at what has sold so far. So 32 closings have happened. Again, those most likely were either accepted in November, December 2025, or potentially January or early February 2026. So that was dead of winter, right after the holidays, slower market in general, where it usually is. And the average days to offer for those was 38. So that goes to show second half of 2025 was slower than usual. things sat on the market a little bit longer, buyers were way more wary, and it took a little bit longer. And also the average sale price, which was $853, was below the average list price, which is $883. So we're seeing more homes at that time go under asking price. There was still plenty of competition on certain homes, but same thing. If the home wasn't right, people were not putting in offers, or they weren't offering as much. So we're seeing under asking price on a lot. So the average was about 4.5% under asking price. But as these homes start to close, since the average day sale offer was 22, then most likely those are going to be selling closer to at or above asking price, and we'll see that ratio start to change, because as houses sell quicker, they're going to sell for more money since there's more competition. So as these close, we're going to start to get more of a picture of what we are seeing in the market right now, which is a lot of activity, multiple offer situations, and a lot of competition. And as the spring continues to take place and the weather warms up, we will see more inventory hit the market, but still not to the levels that we need it to be, because it's been years and years of low inventory and a lot of buyer demand, and that really hasn't changed. So although it's starting to increase overall from where it was, it's still way behind where it was in pre-2020 levels. So a way to get a picture of that is at the bottom here, it shows units listed from 12-month activity as of March 31st. So it's 12 months from March 31st, 2026. There have been 233 single-family homes on the market in Woburn. In 2025, going back into 2024, there had been 253. So even from a couple years ago at this point, we're down about 8% in overall inventory. So inventory, again, even though right now there's a few extra homes on the market, inventory is actually down again, and prices are going up because the average sale price is $853 this year so far. At this time last year, it was $837. So prices are going up, inventory is going down. Been a very similar story for a long time. That is continuing, and we'll see how it goes as things warm up here. And if interest rates come down, that'll help a lot, but rates have still been trending in the mid sixes for the most part, which is either putting some people on the sidelines or making them not as aggressive or willing to sell their home right now because they don't want to take on a higher mortgage than they have currently. And so now I want to show the median prices as well, because that usually gives a better picture as to the trends and the overall affordability level for people. So we saw the average sale price was over $850,000 this year, and that is skewed by some higher end new construction homes. Some houses selling well into 1 million, closer to 2 million. And like I mentioned, the other one that's on the market right now for 2.7. Once that closes for whatever number it does, that'll bump up that average pretty significantly. So the median sale price of homes that have sold is $770,000. Last year in 2025, quarter one was $720,000. So we're up about 7% on the median year over year. And of these, you can see the average original list price was almost $800,000. So it's pretty hard to get into Woburn now for under 800, as you can see. Median being 770. Anything under that price, you're typically getting something that needs a lot more work. It's not as good of a location. You're not going to get something, for the most part, that's brand new or much more move-in ready. A lot of houses in the lower 700s and below, and even anything under 800, it's going to be a bit of a fixer-upper, which is kind of crazy to see for those of us who grew up here, and they were even older than me, that before these numbers were unheard of in Woburn. So it has come a long way. To give an even wider picture of this is the 5-year review of the Woburn market. So going back to 2022, the number of listings taken was 57 in the first quarter. So that's dropped off significantly ever since, went down to 38 and then leveled out at 40. So it's remained pretty level since then, but dropped off. These are kind of coming out of COVID levels when you see 2022. So same thing with the number of sales, 52 in 2022, and then it went to 45, 27 in 2024. We started a pretty big dip in late 2023 into 2024, and it bounced back a bit up to 33 and then now 32. So you can see where numbers used to be a lot higher, and especially in 2021 and even 2020 later in the year, numbers went significantly higher in Woburn in terms of inventory and number of sales happening. So we're still working towards getting back towards those levels. And this gives a good sense of it as well. The 12-month activity section. In 2022, the 12-month activity, there were 312 units listed. In 2023 is 282. And then that big drop again in 2024, which also was in 2023, 211. That was a pretty big dip. And then we bounced back, went up to 253 in 2025, and now we've dipped again a little bit to 233. So it's been a bit up and down, but overall, compared to where we used to be, we're down pretty far in terms of inventory. So it's going to take years before that can remotely catch up. And I think a lot of that will have to do with interest rate levels, where if we get into the mid fives on average, I think you'll start to see a lot more people sell, because there's a lot of people out there with 2 or 3% interest rates. So to go up to 6.5% potentially is a huge jump for people. So they need some kind of middle ground. So I think if you get into that mid fives on average, we'll see a lot more activity because a lot more sellers will finally make that move. And when we're talking about sale price, in 2022, the median sale price was $625,000. And as I mentioned, now we're up to $770,000. And in the time in 2024 where things dipped in terms of inventory, prices went up. So median sale price then was $810,000. That was out of 27 sales, and median list price of about $800,000. So higher end stuff hit the market too, but prices really jumped up as inventory lowered. So you can see another trend there that as inventory lowers, prices have been going up because there's more competition. There's still always people moving to this area, whether they're looking to move for school, for their job, first-time buyers from the area, downsizers. There's always going to be a lot of activity around here with its accessibility to Boston. So the less inventory, the higher the demand, the higher the prices are going. And that seems to be the case of what's going to happen in the rest of 2026 here. Because we are seeing new listings get accepted offers very quickly all of a sudden. And so as the weather continues to warm up, I think that drives more buyers out. And so right now I'm taking a look at what's under agreement or contingent on the market right now in Woburn from the past month. So even houses like this 6 Callahan Drive, it's a new construction home, which again usually takes longer to sell, listed for $1.8 million. It's been on the market 170 days, but then it just accepted an offer this past week. So all of a sudden a higher end home is starting to sell. Same with 26 Flag Street, another new construction. It had been on the market previously, didn't sell. They just relisted in the spring here, and they got an offer in 12 days. So speed is key again. We're seeing houses sell a lot quicker than they had been over the rest of the winter. So it really does change with the season. Even a house like 10 Gately Drive, it was listed for $1.275 million, had an offer in 11 days. So $1 million plus price point is still now, it's now a strong market in Woburn. Never had been before, but now there's plenty of people out there spending over $1 million to live here. And even when you get close to it, things are moving pretty quickly. 959, 13 days until offers. That's what DTO is. DOM is days on market. So then we see one that took 57 days, took a little bit longer. 7 days till offer, 8 days till offer, 41 days till offer, 12 days, 10, 6, 2, 22, 6, 5 again, 8. So the houses that are hitting the market right now are selling quickly. So those are numbers to pay attention to, like I mentioned, because once something sells, that means that was the market from 2 months ago. But when things are under agreement right now, that's what's happening in the moment right now. When we're seeing quick days till offer, that means that there's high demand, most likely multiple offers on a lot of these. And as they close, we'll get a better sense of how much activity there was. If they went 100 grand over asking price, 50 grand over asking price, some could have gone under asking price. But you get more and more of a picture as this develops. So this is also a picture too of once you get under 800,000, so that median sale price right now is 770. If you're right around that or under, things are being snatched up immediately. So even this one being on for 800, 12 days, and everything below is, for the most part, 12 days or fewer. So we're getting offers in under 2 weeks on almost every house that's within or under the median sale price in Woburn right now. So I hope all of this made sense, and that might have been a lot of data and information thrown at you all at once. And I'm not the best at talking on camera, still working on that. But if you are potentially interested in buying or selling in Woburn, the surrounding area, greater Boston, I'm happy to discuss anytime because it's a very competitive market and there's a lot to learn. So you need to be as prepared as possible, learn the trends, learn the process, and know what you're getting yourself into. So anything I can do to help, feel free to reach out anytime.